Well, I think that America should be very proud of what it did when it elected Barack Obama, because Barack Obama was not elected by just Black people. That was a consensus of consciousness that made that possible. And that's a tremendous victory for our country. And it should go down in the history books as such. I was also waiting for the boil over because I know what it took to cross that barrier historically and what was seething beneath the scenes. And so a President Trump is the perfect response to that. And it should have been expected. And it's unfortunate, but that was the backlash to it. And what President Trump represents, it's not so much that he's just this evil, awful person, but he is the symbol. He's symbolic of what people want and believe when it comes to keeping that line as it relates to white supremacy, racial division, economic division, and emboldening those types of ideals and principles. And so every movement in this country, every movement, starting from the Revolutionary War, which was an uprising of rebels, right, was started by young people. It's always the young people who don't have the same types of things to lose or the same ideals of accepting the status quo that make the change. And so the civil rights movement, those were children, many of them high school children, definitely college students, and even kindergartners like Ruby Bridges. When we look at today with the Black Lives Matter movements, and they're calling it the social justice movement, that's just a derivative of the civil rights movement. When you look at the ending of slavery or the pushing for that, a lot of that is going to come because of the younger generation of enslaved Black men and women who are escaping and revolting against the system. And so I have a lot of hope and promise in our younger generations because they always shift the pendulum. They always push us out of our complacency to the point where we have to do something because they're tearing down the institutions that we value or that are required for us to maintain our livelihood. And so I'm very optimistic about it. And I think if we ever had an opportunity, it's today. You mentioned about the women being mayors, and anytime people get an opportunity and the barriers are removed, you will see the best rise to the top, whether that's a woman, whether that's someone of an ethnic minority, whether that's someone of a different religion or faith. Just it's when you take the handcuffs off of the human spirit, it's able to thrive. And that's what people are trying to prevent. They're trying to hold on to an old system that keeps one tier in power and another tier not in power. And that's typically tied to wealth.